Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. So guys, if you like what you see, what you hear today, please hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, so today I want to talk about a very important topic: when and how to give love and affection. Okay, so by the end of this video, you're going to learn when and how to properly give love and affection. And the goal here, as always, is to drive a woman's interest level up, to get her to love you and stay in love with you. Okay, so let's unpack that today. The other day I did a video, and in that video I argued that there were times and situations where you want to withhold love and affection, where you want to completely withdraw from a situation. And the guy over on Facebook watched my video. He didn't comment here on YouTube, but he was trying to pick an argument with me over on Facebook. And he was arguing that my approach is manipulative and abusive. And we're going to see that that's a constant position of psychologists. Psychologists argue that any kind of withholding of love and affection is abuse. And, of course, that's why today every woman that has a failed relationship claims that her partner was an abusive narcissist, when that isn't true, okay? And I'll also note that this guy who is claiming that I was manipulative and abusive, he had 2 kids. One was transgender. The other one, they were both born out of wedlock. One was transgender and the other one had drug and alcohol problems, whereas my son is the captain of the wrestling team. He just made state. He was a football star, and he's also gotten into 13 universities, and my son doesn't touch drugs. So I don't want to say that I'm a better parent, but I'm just suggesting that what he is doing is not working. So today I want to talk about how we give love and affection in order to increase interest level. And yes, there are times when we withhold that love and affection, but most of the time, 80-90% of the time, we want to be giving our partner, our girlfriend, our wife, love and affection. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to do that today. All right, so like I said, psychologists are wrong about affection. Psychologists claim that the most important thing in a relationship is communication, and that you should constantly, no matter what a woman does, no matter how badly she treats you, you should still be giving you love and affection. And I argue that's a mistake. When a woman treats you badly, you don't want to reward that behavior. What we want to do is we want to reward good behavior. And if we select the right woman, if we manage a relationship properly, she's going to be exhibiting good behavior at least 80-90% of the time. And during that time, yes, indeed, we do want to give her affection and romance. So I sort of have I have a list here of the things that really work in a relationship. These are the things that will keep a woman in love with you. And for psychologists, the top of that list is communication. And I'll explain today why communication is further down on that list. As I said many times, what really counts is whether or not a woman loves you. And these are the tools, these are the things listed in order of importance that will keep a woman in love with you. The first is challenge. Challenge is absolutely essential for keeping a woman in love with you. So you always must be a challenge. A woman must think always that you have the power to walk away from a relationship, that you have the power to get other women interested in you. So challenge is critical. It's at the top of the list. Then we have romance. Related to romance, we then have affection. And number 4, guys, a lot of people, housework. I'm telling you, one of the keys to a woman's heart is doing a little housework, and I'll explain that later. And then number 5 is communication. Okay, so communication is not number 1, it's number 5. Okay, so let's talk now about how to give affection, how to give romance, how to keep our women in love with you. I sort of want to go through the days of the week and tell you what I do and what you should do during the days of the week in order to show your wife or your girlfriend affection. So number one, I have on Monday, you give her 5 minutes of kissing. When she comes home from work, you kiss her, you hold her, you give her affection, and we don't pursue sex. Okay, very important here, guys. We don't want a woman thinking that you're only kissing her because you want to get sex. We don't want her thinking that you're giving affection in order to get something. We want her thinking that you're giving affection purely to give affection and to show her that you care about her. Okay, so Monday, we give a woman kissing, five full minutes of kissing. Okay, Tuesday, we've talked about this before. You listen to her talk about her day. When she comes home, she wants to talk about her day. You listen, you sit down, you keep your mouth shut, you don't interrupt, you don't go into problem solving mode, and you listen to her talk about her day. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, you give her some housework. You do some housework. She comes home to a clean kitchen or a clean bathroom. That is a great way of showing love and affection. Now, during all this time, guys, you may be saying, well, what about telling her that I love her? Well, guys, I found that doesn't really do anything for you. Anyone can say, I love you. And as a matter of fact, saying I love you is anti-challenge. So one thing I don't do and I don't recommend is saying I love you all the time because it's meaningless. You show your love through your actions. Okay. So on Thursday, we give her the gift of missing you. Okay. So Thursday, a lot of guys make the mistake of constantly calling their wives at work, constantly being there, waiting at home, looking at the clock. Where have you been? Why are you late? Give her the gift of missing you. Disappear. Let her wonder where you are. Okay. So that's on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, again, we give her romance. We give her a date night, okay? And yes, this is a big night. In my marriage, this is a big night where we have sex. We have date night. We have a romantic date night. It's absolutely critical to have date night. We have a romantic date night full of affection, full of cuddling, full of dancing, full of good time. And every time, date night ends in sex. Again, we don't start warming a woman up for sex on Saturday night. We don't just jump her bones. We start warming her up on Monday by kissing her and romancing her. All right, guys, let me give some of sort of my own examples. But like I said in my other video, there are times when we withhold our affection, and that when a woman is exhibiting bad behavior, we withhold affection, and that is not abuse. People, especially people on the far left, will say, "Oh, withholding affection is abuse. You can never do it. It's a bad thing. No matter how badly your wife treats you, she treats you like dirt. You still must be loving and affection with her, and then you must communicate." No, and no. These are all huge mistakes. I'll give you some examples. So, normally my relationship with my wife is very good. She works very hard. She comes home. We're very loving. She's glad to see me. Hi, baby. How are you? She hugs me. We kiss. She cooks me dinner. Okay. That's 90% of the time. That's the way things go in my personal relationship. But there are times when things aren't so good. My wife will get mood. Women go through moods, even high quality women. And again, I've talked this in many other videos. One of the keys to this whole process is selection. You have to select a good woman. And unfortunately, in today's world, today's culture, only a small percentage of women are good, are marriage material, okay? So again, you have to pick the right one for this to work. Otherwise, it won't work. You pick a low quality woman that's not fit for marriage. She's a hardcore feminist. She hates men. She's angry. She's militant. These are the type of women that no matter what you do, the relationship isn't going to work. So, of course, the assumption here is we pick a good woman. So, normally my relationship with my wife is very good. I talked about the fact that we have not been doing date night in a while because my son has been having wrestling tournaments. So, our relationship has been lacking that romance and that affection, and it started to show. My wife has become distant over this. We were supposed to go out this weekend. I caught a little bit of the flu. If we had done our date night Saturday, this wouldn't have happened. But because we were doing wrestling tournaments on the weekends, not doing date nights, I've had a series of time where we've not had date nights and things have not been going as well. My wife is moody. Another problem, and this illustrates why communication doesn't really work. Another problem we have is financial. Okay, our house, I am semi-retired. I'm not really working much anymore, but I paid the mortgage on our house. I bought our house. I put $100,000 on it. I paid off the mortgage. And the and what my wife does, her share of the bills is she pays taxes, she pays insurance. So she's spending nearly $1,000 a month on the house. And if we had a mortgage, our mortgage would probably be closer to $2,000. So from my perspective, I've paid that mortgage off. So even though I'm no longer working, I'm no longer paying. My perspective is that I have paid my share into our house. But women don't think that way. They don't think that logically. All women think based upon their feelings. And all my wife knows is that I'm not working and she's working and still paying these bills. And we have some stuff comes up. Our fence needs fixing. Our deck needs fixing. We need we need a new dishwasher. And I'm barely able to pay for half that. And so right now, I know my wife is moody because of financial things. So her behavior has changed. She's not making dinner. She's not giving me affection. We haven't been doing date night. So what I do is I withdraw my affection. And I had a video about this, and this is very controversial. A lot of people will say, oh no, that's abuse, that's manipulative. It's not abuse, guys. It's not manipulative, okay? And we actually had a period where we almost tried communication. Last night, I made some spaghetti for myself. Since my wife hasn't been cooking, I cooked spaghetti for myself, and my son ate it. So I texted my wife last night, and I said, where's my dinner? I made my dinner for myself. My dinner's gone. And she started to want to argue, well, you left a mess, you didn't do the... Since she hasn't been cooking, I haven't been cleaning. And so she wanted to argue about this. And so at that point, I realized that what was going to happen, that argument was going to escalate. So I cut it off right then. I stopped the texting. I stopped communicating with my wife. And today, things are different. Today, she sent me a nice text. Hi, baby, how are you doing? Are we still on for Saturday night? So by not rewarding bad behavior, I'm now getting good behavior. So the key here, guys, is we want to give our wives, we want to give our partners lots of affection. We want to give them love. We want to give them affection. We want to give them romance. But we need to do it appropriately. We don't reward bad behavior. So the bottom line is that if you have a good woman, you will only be giving love and affection about 89% of the time. Now, the reality here, guys, is that's more affection that you have in most relationships. So traditional psychologists will argue that, no, you're being abusive. But the reality is that if you operate according to these principles, your relationship is going to have more romance. It's going to have more affection than most relationships have. So you're going to have a successful relationship. All right, guys. Again, if you like what you saw and heard, please check out my book. There's a link to it down below in the comments. It's available on Amazon.com. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We need to create a community of men getting women to love us and stay in love with us, and happy dating.